Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Ginny. Today I'm going to share with you how I made this lovely little card with the Nuts About Squirrels Stamp set from the annual catalog. I've teamed it up with our new Designer Series paper stack for hostesses that you can find in our mini catalog. So let me set this aside and I'll show you how to get started. I've got my basic white cardstock cut out here with my stitched rectangle die, and I'm ready to stamp my outline image for my squirrel. So I'm going to bring him in here on the right hand side and stamp. Once I have that done, I'm going to bring in the solid image here for the squirrel, and I'm going to line him up and stamp in the Sahara sand. There we go, that's pretty good. I'm going to bring in the cap for the acorn next, and I'm going to stamp this off once and then do the cap. And then I'm going to bring in the little solid image and ink that up and stamp the bottom of the acorn. There we go. Last but not least, I need my sentiment. So I'm going to ink up the hey there with the Poppy Parade. And let's see, I think I'm going to put it above him here on the left. There we go. I've got my image done and I'm ready to do some blending with my blending brush. So I'm going to bring in my Granny Apple and my blending brush. I'm going to pick up some of that ink and tap. And then I'm going to lightly go around the outside of my rectangle with this beautiful Granny Apple. Just adding a little hint of color as I move around the outside. If you want a little more color, you can pick up some more ink, tap, and add some more. There we go. I've got my panel done and I'm ready to start assembling. For assembly, I'm going to start with this large panel of Granny Apple and my 3 pieces of Designer Series paper. And I'm going to adhere them to this panel. I'm going to start with the 1-inch strip, and this is from our Hostess paper, Celebrate Everything. It's got all kinds of fun images and patterns. Let's see, I want this going the other way, for your fall holidays. So I'm going to adhere this down. And of course, if you want to put your other pieces of Designer Series paper in place so that you know you have the right margins, you can. Next, I'm going to bring in this leaf pattern and I'm going to adhere that down to the bottom right-hand corner. I'm going all the way up to the edge of the paper before I apply it. Oops, he slid a little bit, so let me slide him back. One of the advantages of multi-purpose is there is a little bit of dry time that you can adjust things. And then I'm going to take my glimmer paper here and I'm going to adhere this to the top. There we go. I've got my Designer Series paper attached, and so I'm going to bring in my crushed curry layer and adhere this to that. Right down in the center. Now at this time, if you notice there's a little bit of gap between your cutting of your Designer Series paper and the edge of your cardstock, you can flip it over and trim that off easily with a paper snips or your trimmer, whichever you prefer. There we go. And I think that looks pretty good. So I'm ready to attach this to my card front, and I'm going to adhere that right down the center. And if you need to fold your card front first so that you can see that score line better, you can do so, but I'm okay doing it this way. And so at this point, I am going to fold it and use my bone folder just so that you can see things a little easier. And now I've got this cute little squirrel to add to my card front. So I'm going to turn him over. I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of my sentiment panel here to pop it up. And because this is a fairly large panel, I'm going to add a couple to the center here so that it's nice and firm. Remove the backings. and adhere this down. And I'm going to adhere it down at a little bit of an angle here, just for a little bit of fun. There we go, like so. Last but not least, I'm going to bring in these beautiful in color dots. They have an ombre, so you can choose from the different colors, and I thought they would pick up the colors here in the designer series paper. And I'm going to take a couple of these and place them around the front of the card, just randomly. So I'm going to start with this one here and place it like so. And then I'm going to pick up one of our parakeet, and let's see, I'm going to pop this one like so. And I'm going to pick up one of the large ones here and place it like so. And one of the others here I'm going to place, let's see, right here below the acorn, just for a little bit of color there. And then the last one, I believe I'm going to bring one of these larger dots in. And I'm going to place that right down here like so. So there you go, a sweet little card using the Nuts About Squirrels Stamp set from the annual catalog and our host paper from the mini. I hope you've enjoyed this project, and of course if you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. You can get there from my blog, Stamp with Jini. Thanks for joining me.